Welcome to the MLFF podcast with your host, Commissioner B. Jack.
Welcome one, welcome all to episode 9 of the MLFF podcast. Week 9 officially marks the halfway point to the league championship. It's all downhill from here. The trading deadline is less than 3 weeks away, and I can only hope that it's as active as the NFL's was yesterday. There are 6 teams on bye this week: the Browns, Cowboys, Broncos, Giants, Steelers, and Niners. In an effort to sound more like a narrator and less like a newscaster, I'm changing up my dialogue for the podcast moving forward. There will be more emphasis on prominent statistics and less of a focus on some of the more insignificant details in order to make room for more of my own personal opinion, which I know you all crave. If there's anything else that you'd like to see included, feel free to share your opinion in the comment section below. Just kidding, go fuck yourself. The clock is ticking, boys. It's time to pack it up or pack it in. So let me begin.
Let's go! No. We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Brian defeats Ben by less than 14 points to snap a 3-game skid in the narrowest margin of victory this week. I set an 82% optimal lineup to Ben's 96%. Brian used QB receiver stack and it was super effective. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, herein known as Brown Hurts, combined for 75 points and were the top performers on the week at their positions. 36 points on my bench out of Deonta Foreman. More like Deonta Fiveman, am I right? Too bad I didn't have the balls to start him over Bullet Hole Brian.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser! Good.
Seems like the Washington Commies are bipolar when it comes to their backfield. In other news, Adriana Chechik returned to streaming last week, mercifully ending the curse that has plagued Team Gagnon Dix. Tyler Higbeaver was in and out of the game with an injury, but it may be time to sound the alarm on Jonathan Taylor. Colts offense is not what it was expected to be. But even so, Ben's team just steadily continued to put up points all day long. And if not for garbage time heroics from Brandon Cooks and Dameon Pierce, I would have lost this week. Nyheim Hines is now a Buffalo Bill though, so his stock should go up. I climbed from 5th place to 4th, and Ben remains in 11th place. Gardo defeats Dantos by 14 points with a 96% optimal lineup to Dantos' 99%. It's Gardo's 4th win in a row.
Boom shakalaka!
Travis Etienne looks good, and Tyreek Hill continues to make Tua look good. Mandrews left early with a shoulder injury. In trade news, Chase Edmonds was traded to the Broncos and is now part of a crowded running back committee. And Chase Claypool is now on the Chicago Bears, a team that averages only 20 pass attempts a game, the fewest in the NFL. Derrick Henry crushed the Texans as he has been known to do with 4 points, but it was wasted. Josh Allen started the game looking like he might put up 50 against the Packers, but fizzled out and only finished with 23 points, a massive disappointment by his standards. Speaking of disappointment, Dantos squandered our only chance for Gardo to buy Modern Warfare 2, losing the matchup in his bet to Gardo. But thankfully, Gardo is a stand-up dude and bought the game anyways. Also, good on Gardo for believing in himself, the only person to select his team in Pick'em. Thanks for nothing, Dantos. Gardo climbs 2 spots to 8th place, and Dantos falls from 1st place to 3rd, but remains atop the East Division. Jake defeats Cody by 20 points, with a 92% optimal lineup for his 2nd consecutive win.
He's heating up!
Cody's lineup was 79% optimal, and it's his 2nd loss in a row. Devontae Adams was dealing with the flu, but apparently he's the only offense that the Raiders have, because they got fucking shut out. Cade Otton? More like Cade oughta not play football anymore after posting only 3 points against the Ravens this week. I'll see myself out. Tua's back appears to be fully healed though. He shredded the Lions for 37 points. Sucks for Cody that his optimal lineup would have won him the match. James Robinson is probably still acclimating to his new team, but his former teammate Trevor Lawrence took a shit against the Broncos in England.
Let's ride.
Nick went full Chubb for 27 points, and Jake's wide receiver core seems to be shaping up. Both of Jake's tight ends are now on the same team, as the Vikings traded for TJ Hockenson after Irv Smith sprained his ankle and will miss time. Big shout out to Cody for doing his part, throwing the game to help keep Jake in the league. Cody falls from 9th place to 10th, and Jake climbs 2 spots to 6th place. T-Bear defeats Jose by 29 points with an 89% optimal lineup for his 3rd win in a row.
He's on fire!
Jose's lineup was 92% optimal, and this loss snaps his 3-game winning streak. Joe Burrow kinda sucked, but the Browns made the Bengals look bad. Coming off the bye, Dalvin Cook looked fresh against the Cardinals, and it seemed like the roids are really helping DeAndre Hopkins, who had 32 fantasy points against the Vikings. T-Bear left 27 points on the bench in DJ Moore.
What an idiot!
But he's likely to be the centerpiece of the Panthers' offense now that everybody else was shipped off ahead of the trade deadline. The entire Bills' offense took a shit in the second half against the Packers. Gabe Davis only had 2 catches and looked more like Al Davis. Aaron Jones ran well, putting up 22 points and continues to make AJ Dildo borderline useless. Knowing he needed a lot of help against T-Bear, Jose traded for Joe Mixon ahead of this matchup, sending the first-round pick to Timmy. I bet he was hoping to get more than 10 points out of him, though. I see the realist in Jose is prevailing. Even he picked T-Bear to win. Maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks. And by old, I mean 41, maybe 42, which Jose turns today. I don't know. He's fucking old. Happy birthday, buddy. Jose falls 3 spots into 9th place, while T-Bear climbs from 2nd place into 1st.
I'm the captain now.
He also remains atop the South Division. Rhino defeats Timmy by 56 points with an 87% optimal lineup to Timmy's 78%. The least optimal lineup this week and Timmy's 4th loss in a row. Timmy's 77 points was the lowest score this week.
I shot myself.
And was the 52nd fewest points scored all time. Kyler likes having Hopkins back, and DeAndre Swift returned from injury, but nobody told Jamal Williams. Cortland Sutton only scored 2 points. More like Cortland Nutton, am I right? Oh, Broncos suck. In trade news, Jeff Wilson is now a Dolphin. That just gives mental images of Animorphs. 2 points from Derek Carr, holy shit. I know Devontae Adams was dealing with an illness, but what the fuck happened to the rest of the Raiders? Keontae Ingram should go back to college and learn a trade. This was also the lowest scoring game of the week, with a combined total of 210 points, 9 fewer than John scored. I'm confident that this is the only time in history of the league that 4 tight ends have been played in one matchup. Rhino and Timmy both remain in 7th and 12th place, respectively. John defeats Spencer by 139 points.
That's a lot of damage!
That margin secured blowout of the week. It also stands as the new blowout of the year, and it now reigns as the all-time biggest blowout.
He broke the fucking world record! Yeah! My buddy!
Beating out John's previous record of 136 against Jose back in Week 15 of the 2019 season. At 99.1%, John set the most optimal lineup this week, and Spencer's lineup was 93% optimal. John's 219.5 points was obviously the most points scored in Week 8, but only the 2nd most points scored all time.
Oh, what a loser!
John had 122 points from just his running backs alone, a score that by itself would have beaten 4 other teams this week. Adding insult to injury, Amari Cooper and Tyler Boyd extended the blowout of the year by 35 points on Monday night.
What are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
You're waking the neighbors! Shut up!
Effectively ending any other bid for the blowout of the year prize payout. Spencer's team saw that he was in desperate need of help and basically said, fuck that, I'm out. Especially his wide receivers. He could have played Rashad White, I suppose. As a YouTuber, I have to be mindful of cancel culture, so I'm going to do my best to talk about John's team in politically correct terms. John's team is stupid. John's team is shit, marbled with Protestant McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, but it's shit that occasionally identifies as weaponized plutonium and fucking goes nuclear. The team that put up 220 points this week, the most this season, is the same team that couldn't reach 80 points in Week 4, the 4th lowest point total this season. John climbs from 4th place into 2nd, while Spencer drops 2 spots to 5th place but remains atop the North Division. 6-2 T-Bear versus 4-4 Rhino. T-Bear is favored to beat Rhino by 44 points, the largest projected margin on the week. T-Bear won their last meeting by 63 points, but is 4-5 against Rhino all time. Jesus fuck, Rhino is going to get fucking slaughtered.
I'll pray for your cock.
2-6 Ben versus 1-7 Timmy. Ben is favored by 36 points, but Timmy still has some substitutions to make. Despite being the underdog, Timmy is 2-0 against Ben, winning their last matchup by 71. It could be close if James Conner and Keenan Allen are healthy. 3-5 Cody versus 5-3 John. Cody is a 33-point favorite, but John's starting lineup looking like an NSYNC song. Cody's 3-1 against John and won their last meeting by 38. I'm putting the over-under for John's score at 85. Any takers? 4-4 Gardo versus 4-4 Jose. Jose's a 29-point underdog against Gardo this week, but still needs to sub out the Cowboys' defense. Y'all motherfuckers need to start setting your lineups on Wednesday mornings. Gardo's 3-2 against Jose, but lost their last meeting by 21. Gardo looking to steamroll the brothers Santos in back-to-back weeks. 5-3 Spencer versus 4-4 Jake. Jake's a 4-point underdog against Spencer this week, but will likely be favored once he makes bye-week substitutions. Spencer's 4-2 against Jake and beat him by 47 last year. He could really use Jamar Chase right now. 5-3 Brian versus 5-3 Dantos. I am favored by less than 2 points in the narrowest projected margin on the week. With both managers at 5-3, third place versus fourth place, in a matchup that projects to be competitive, this is Game of the Week. The Brown hurt stack gonna make Dan's Brown hurt. League payout standings. John takes an insurmountable lead for blowout of the year and extends his lead for most blowouts to 3. Jose remains in first for the league pick'em with 32 correct picks, followed by Dantos, who is now in sole possession of second place with 29.
Look at this shit.
That is it. The trading deadline is 20 days away, less than 3 weeks, folks. Playoffs start week 15. That's 43 days away. Do not forget to submit the weekly pick'em. The link to the form, as always, can be found in the commissioner's note and also pinned as a comment in the Discord server. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Just kidding, eat shit.
Thank you for listening to the MLFF podcast.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! And thing sucks!